Hey guys, Nick here. I'm going to show you today a quick tip on how you can organize your workflows by creating components. So the idea behind components is to basically take, in my opinion, very similar nodes and combine them into one grouping. So then your workflow kind of gets rid of all the clutter of this step, that step, and the next step, and it just shows one node to describe those steps. And that node, as you can see here in my beautiful notes, that component can be you can like describe it, and you can adjust the descriptor to it and the title to it so you understand what's within it, and as well as you can also obviously click in or step into the component to see what nodes make up the component, or if you want to rework some of the nodes within the component, or even if you just want to do some auditing and make sure your manipulations are being performed, or you're setting your manipulations up the way you see them in your head or in your game plan. And finally, even if you set up a component, you can always open it up to step in and see it, or you can just undo the component and show the node for each particular step within that component as if it was never a component at all. So just to show you guys what I'm talking about in an example, I'm going to look at this workflow that we've set up through previous videos of mine in the Knime learning series, or whatever you want to call it. And we're going to take a few of these and create a component with them so you guys can better understand all this mumble jumble and what I've said so far. Alright, so we're going to take in particular these three nodes right here. These, to me, I see them as the nodes where I do some cleanup before I output my data to a Tableau, a hyperfile. So this is more so like polishing the manipulations I've done on my source data. It kind of polishes it up, so then in Tableau I don't have to do as much cleaning up and renaming things, sorting, etc. So let me show you. I'm going to take this column rename node, I'm going to highlight it, then I'm going to take the column resort node, and then finally this other node where I actually sort the rows, and I'm going to highlight all of them. So first step is to highlight the nodes you want to group, and then I'm simply going to do a right click on one of the nodes, and if you go down right here in the middle to this create component selection, give that a click. So what this pop-up says is that the nodes that are executed already, since I have these executed by you can tell by the green status, they're going to reset when I create the component. So no big deal there. I'll just re-execute them, so I'm not worried about that. I'll hit OK, and now here's where you can enter the name for the component. I'm going to say manipulation polishing, right? Gonna name that manipulation polishing. The name is gonna define this top name of the node. So I'll click OK, and you'll see how these three combine into this beautiful gray colored node. So every gray node you see like this is typically a component, and you can see the name I gave it pops up top, and you can always click in to the bottom, or what I call like the subheader, or whatever you want to consider it. You can always give some more detail here, so I'm going to say like column cleanup, column cleaning, and sorting to give me some more detail. Then I can click on this node, hit F7, re-execute it, and it's executed. So no big deal on that big pop-up that we saw earlier. And now this is where, like I was saying earlier, or I had written earlier in the notes, you can always right click into the component, and if you go down here you can see now we have this component option. It opens up this other little screen, and from within you have these other options. You can open, expand, set up to maybe change the name again, etc. But what we're going to do is I'm going to show you, just like in the notes, we're going to open this up, click open, and now if you look at, let me move this tab over where we were doing our work. Oh, there we go. So if you look at this component node that we've created, when we clicked open, we've got this new tab where within the component you have the three nodes we originally showed there grouped, and we can always reconfigure these, mess around with them. If we need to do an audit, to make sure our data is calculating correctly the way we're experiencing it in our head or in our game plan, you can always work within here to make sure everything within the component is good. Then you can simply X out, or if, let's say for example, you don't want this to be a component anymore, you want to see every step, just so you don't have to click in and hit component open. You can always just, instead of clicking the open option, hit this expand, and then this expand is going to tell you again the nodes will be reset. No big deal there. Hit OK. So now the 3 nodes are expanded and they're not a component anymore. But as we said, we're trying to organize our workflows a bit, so I'm going to create a component. I'm just going to title it work now. Hit OK. And now we've got a little bit more real estate to work with. The steps don't look as involved. Obviously we know there's work here because this is a gray node and we know it's a component and there's stuff within there. But the components help you as far as organization, because we could even take these other nodes, right? Create a component, and we're gonna say join and math for this one, right? Because I've got a joiner node, some math formulas, and some group bys, which is just more math manipulation there. And now we have another component, so our workflow is getting cleaned up quite a bit just by taking nodes, multiple nodes, and creating a component. I try to keep my components kind of on the similar wavelength, right? So this component was specifically for updating or doing that, like what we call the polishing work, whereas this node was more so like combining 2 data sources and doing some math work on them. But anyways, not to drag this on anymore, this, guys, is how you can use components to help organize your workflows and make them a bit more appealing to the eye. Like always, if you have any questions, just drop it in the comments, and don't forget to hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and share this video with your friends. I'll catch you guys on the next one.